Conditions apply.
26.5 degrees Celsius in West London earlier, marking the UK's hottest day of the year so far. Things are set to cool down from tomorrow, though.
Kickoff on 1089 and 1053 medium wave on your mobile. Kickoff live.
Slide tackling, spontaneous football and fury.
Get stuck in the thoroughly world famous Kickoff, the weeknight football show.
Award-winning live football commentary.
It's gotta be Kickoff. Kickoff live. Talk Sport.
45 years ago, Liverpool came to this stadium and won the European Cup. Tonight they come here trying to save their season and trying to save Arne Slot's job. Live from the Parc des Princes, it's Paris Saint-Germain against Liverpool on Talk Sports.
That is it. Desiree Doué has got the winning penalty for Paris Saint-Germain.
I've said a lot of times how great of a match that was, the best game I've managed in my career. Maybe not in result, but how football should be played.
And Haaland has a hat-trick. Liverpool are being utterly dismantled.
They've given up on the game a little bit.
I think there's no doubt that this is a team filled with quality players, but they just don't seem to pull in one direction, and that's a worrying thing.
Liverpool are not consistent, we know that, but they are capable of a one-off performance.
Ball into the near post, and it in! Virgil van Dijk! Salah from McAllister, great ball in! Ekitike! Dominic Szoboszlai, 25 yards out, drills it into the bottom corner!
We have the 20 minutes we had at City. If we have them tomorrow evening here, we will again concede 4 goals.
Kvaratskhelia is trying to get in behind Sarr, and Kvaratskhelia scores!
And it looks like now they've turned that corner and they clicked. It's looking good from a PSG point of view, for sure.
It's dropped to Kvaratskhelia, and now Lee! It's locked in by Vitinha!
This first leg, when really, if they play well, they could put Liverpool away.
Bonsoir from Paris. I'm Adrian Durham. This is Talk Sport, and we're here for a Champions League quarter-final first leg, but we're also here to see a Liverpool response, to see whether Arne Slot's future is secure, to see if the Liverpool players have got any kind of response after the captain admitted they gave up in the Cup at City, live on Talk Sport on Saturday. It's a hugely important night in Liverpool's modern history, and it's a game against the European champions who put 8 past Chelsea over 2 legs in the last round. Let's first of all check on the teams with your commentator on Talk Sport tonight here in Paris, Jim Proudfoot.
Well, Liverpool make 2 changes to the side that lost to Manchester City on Saturday. The headline is that Mo Salah makes way, whilst Curtis Jones also drops to the bench. And Alexander Isak is also named amongst the substitutes back in the first-team squad for the first time since December the 20th. Frimpong and McAllister are the players that come in. And Frimpong for Salah suggests that the Reds may go with a back 3 for only the second time this season. PSG make 4 changes to the team that beat Toulouse at the weekend. They're without the injured Fabian Ruiz and Bradley Barcola. They leave out Zabani, Lucas Hernandez, Beraldo and Lee, with the veteran Marquinhos, Nuno Mendes, Vitinha and João Neves all recall. So Liverpool lining up Mamadashvili in goal. If it is a back 3, it'll be Konate, Van Dijk and Gomez, with Frimpong and Kerkez at wing-back. Szoboszlai, Gravenberch and McAllister in midfield. And Wirtz floating around behind Hugo Ekitike, who faces his old club. Safanov in goal for PSG. Hakimi, Marquinhos, Pacho and Nuno Mendes. Zaire Emery, Vitinha and João Neves, with Doué, Dembele and Kvaratskhelia, the front 3. And the referee is Jose Maria Sanchez, who officiated PSG's defeat at Villa last season. But very interesting if Liverpool do decide to change the shape tonight.
Well, let's unpack that, and there's a lot to unpack. Former England captain Stuart Pearce is with us at the Parc des Princes. Liverpool potentially going with a back 3. PSG, we know, have an electric front 3, so does it make sense to you?
Yeah, it certainly does. I think it falls into 3 categories when you change from playing a 4 to a 3. You've either looked at the opposition and you think you can hurt them going that way. You look at the opposition, you fear them, and you think that formation might help you defensively. Or maybe where Liverpool are at the moment, the team need freshening up mentally. I think after the weekend, the team not playing particularly great, maybe There might even be a little bit of everything in each of those three answers even.
You know what, I was thinking about this earlier. How do you defend against that front three? And a back three does make total sense. Two centre-backs makes no sense, particularly with attacking full-backs, which is what normally Liverpool play with. So it seems to make sense to me. But what it also gives Liverpool is more of an attacking threat, certainly out wide, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does in many ways. I mean, Salah not playing, I'm not sure, sadly for him, that they're going to miss that much. He had good opportunities at the weekend and he's lacking confidence that much that you never fancy him when he does get in with just a goalie to beat, where roll the clock back a year and you could set your watch. You just will go and line up for a goal for a centre when he goes through on goal. But we're not seeing that this year, so it makes common sense, really. I don't think him being left out is such a big deal, personally, on his form. That's the way it is. And it just might freshen them up a little bit. It gets Wirtz a little bit closer to Ekitike. And as we saw on Saturday, and I saw in my eyes, I think the interaction between the two of them is probably one of their best weapons at the moment.
I think if you're looking at it and wondering how you can deal with PSG, you look back at some of the games where they've failed, in inverted commas. Matches they haven't won have been few and far between, but one of those was against Newcastle here in the Champions League, and Eddie sprung a surprise that day. He played with a back five, and it worked very effectively, because what they were able to do was go man for man where they needed to, but restrict space for PSG in the areas that they were really trying to hit. And so if Liverpool have looked at that and think that they might be able to mirror the way that Newcastle approached it, you can totally understand the logic of it. But something's got to change, because it hasn't been working. Defensively, they've lost 4 of the last 5 away games. The only question you'd ask, have they had enough time in the wake of the disappointments of Saturday and the nature of that to be able to implement this? Because they've only played with the back three once all season, and that was a 3-0 defeat at home to Crystal Palace in the League Cup back in the autumn, where they were rotten. I mean, he made a lot of changes that day, and it was by no means a full-strength 11. But as an experiment for playing a back three going forward, it really didn't work. So they're going to have to improve on that tonight.
I think you've got to understand as well, we're talking about Liverpool coming here and how they might hurt PSG and that type of thing. I think you've got to just look back to last night, and I listened in on the commentary, and it was talk of Arsenal just coming, shutting up shop, getting a nil against their scoreline, managed to nick a winner at the end of it. There's nothing wrong with doing that tonight, by the way. If you're Liverpool, keep yourself in the tie, get them back to Anfield. Why should that be any different?
That's a classic away European performance, isn't it? That's one way you really should look at what Arsenal did last night. Players on their way out to warm up. So what will that do in the PSG dressing room when they see Stuart Pearce, potentially Liverpool going to a back three? Will that flummox them a bit? And when they see there's no Mo Salah, will they be happy with that or disappointed because he's not in form? How will PSG respond to those Liverpool changes?
No matter how out of form he is, when you see someone of Salah's ability not in the team, it'll give him a lift, I think, because he has the ability to go past people and score a wonder goal and win a game. So if you're a Liverpool fan or you're a neutral like ourselves, we probably turn around and say him being out, no big deal, his form's not been good, don't expect to see him scoring goals. If you're PSG, you think one of their main weapons is not playing, and that will give them a big lift. Whether they'll actually look at this Liverpool selection and think they're definitely lining up with a 3, because they can go with a 4 with what they've got as well. So it wouldn't surprise us either way, whichever formation they started with.
Yeah, they had the draw with Spurs recently, the 1-1 draw where they played with Frimpong wide on the right-hand side. They played with Szoboszlai at right back that day, but it could easily be that Joe Gomez would play at right back and that Konate would play alongside Van Dijk with Kerkez at left back and Frimpong plays on the right in a 4-2-3-1. It could be that, but I just think with that Newcastle performance and the fact that something's got to change, I think he might be tempted to go with a 3 tonight.
Stuart, quick word on Isak. He's back, he's on the bench. Slot said yesterday Isak had been joining in full training for about a week. In your experience, after an ankle injury and surgery in December, is a week's training enough for him to maybe come on and have an impact in a game of this stature?
Without a doubt, I think it is. Listen, purely the fact that he's on the bench means he's clinically fit. If you're clinically fit, even if you're not 100% fit, you can have an impact late in the game. And him and Ekitike, he was signed to maybe pair up with him. Maybe that is the utopia that they can actually get in the last few games of the season. Ekitike dropping slightly deeper to blend things together with Isak playing further up the field. But listen, he's got to give him a lift, you know. He's a £120 million player that's not kicked a ball this year for him.
Absolutely right. Well, that's it's dramatic already, the Liverpool team news. No Salah, possibly a back three. We'll only really know when the game kicks off and the players take shape out on this pitch here in the Parc des Princes. You're listening to Kickoff on TalkSport with Ladbrokes 18+, gambleaware.org. TalkSport live in Paris with Liverpool in the Champions League.
Kickoff on TalkSport with Ladbrokes, 18+, gambleaware.org.
Switching to Vodafone full fibre broadband is now as easy as pie. Ooh, freshly baked. It's a walk in the park. Hello, little fella. It's like taking candy from a baby. Come on, as if I'd do that. With One Touch Switch, it's easy. We sort everything out for you. We even contact your current provider. Plus, we'll help towards leaving fees. Switch today to full fibre broadband with Vodafone.
Up to £200 credit to cover leaving fees. More information and terms at vodafone.co.uk/broadband.
Rory McIlroy, Masters champion. You'd think it doesn't get any better than that, but they thought that before. After Scheffler, after Matsuyama, after Tiger, all 5 times. Because that's the thing with the Masters. Just when you think there's nothing left to surprise you, it shows you how wrong you are. It's Masters time. Watch every moment live on Sky Sports, stream flexibly on Now.
18+, UK only. Minimum speed 2.5 megabits per second. Live scheduling MIDI subjects change. All terms apply.
You probably weren't thinking about retirement when you met the love of your life. Or when you realised they actually weren't. Or when you swapped the family home for a cosy cottage for one. Or when you decided to start a business in your 50s. And Rex, the rescue puppy, became the new love of your life. For the life we live. Standard Life. Phoenix Life Limited, trading as Standard Life. For full details, visit standardlife.co.uk.
Who are you going for at Aintree?
The favourite.
The favourite.
The favourite, without a doubt.
This Aintree Festival, everyone's going for the free favourite pull-out in the sun. It's jam-packed with top tips and form guides for all the runners and riders. And a free £2 in-shop bet with Coral for the Grand National. Get your free favourite pull-out in the sun every day of Aintree. T's and C's apply. 18+ only. Be gambleaware.org.
Get a nose ahead this Grand National with Betfred. We're paying 6 places when you place an each-way bet. Back a horse for their form, their trainer, or because their silks match your lucky socks. However you pick them, get a nose ahead with Betfred's 6-place payout. Want to bet? Betfred. Online only 6 places at 1 to 5 odds, single and multiple bets placed. From 12 p.m. on the 8th of April to 4 p.m. on the 11th of April 2026. Win or each-way market only. Best odds guaranteed does not apply. T's and C's apply. 18+, gambleaware.org.
Champions League live on TalkSport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, we're here for it.
It's a sumptuous Saturday afternoon of live game day football on the TalkSport network from 12:30.
Norwich City versus Ipswich
In the Championship on TalkSport 2.
What a start! Plus Arsenal versus Bournemouth
In the Premier League on TalkSport.
Oh, it's in!
It's a splendid Saturday of game day football on the TalkSport network.
TalkSport live in the Parc des Princes, where the ultras of both ends are making themselves heard behind the goals. Actually came here 3.5 years ago to see the front three, that famous front three of Mbappe, Messi and Neymar. They beat Marseille in Le Classique. Neymar scored the only goal of the game. He was the only one who played well. Paris were disjointed. They were lucky to win it that night. Mbappe left for Madrid in 2024. That front three broken up. Many thought PSG's greatness would go with him. Luis Enrique said they would be even better without him. In the first season, with all of that famous front three gone, PSG won their first Champions League. Enrique hailed a genius Arne Slot must overcome if Liverpool are to reach the semi-finals. Live commentary coming up on TalkSport. We're in Paris for the quarter-final first leg. You're listening to Kickoff on TalkSport with Ladbrokes, 18+, gambleaware.org. Barcelona are playing tonight as well in another Champions League quarter-final first leg, looking set for the league title in Spain. Tonight they have their game against Atletico Madrid, a side who beat them recently over 2 legs in the Copa del Rey. Let's look ahead to this one with TalkSport's Ian Dante.
A 5th meeting of the season between these two. Barcelona 7 points clear at the top of La Liga,
and that latest win came on Saturday night at the Wanda Metropolitano, beating Atleti by 2-1. But whilst Barca have a very strong domestic league record against Atleti, in the Cups it's a little different. As Adrian just mentioned, Diego Simeone's side won in the Copa del Rey this season, knocking Barcelona out over 2 legs, and they have won both Champions League quarter-final matchups between the two sides, the last time being a 3-2 aggregate win almost exactly 10 years ago. Team news: well, Robert Lewandowski came off the bench on Saturday to score the somewhat fortunate winner off his chest. He comes in as one of just 2 changes made by Hansi Flick. Lewandowski comes in for Lopez and Koundé in at right back for Araujo. As for Atleti, well, Antoine Griezmann once again back on his old stomping ground where he spent 2 seasons between his spells in Madrid. He keeps his place, but there's 5 changes around him after that defeat. Hanko, Llorente, Lookman, Ruggieri and Alvarez all come in to the starting lineup for the visitors. Barca have won all 14 games they played at Camp Nou since returning to the stadium in November. Can Atleti once again prove to be their Achilles heel in the last 8? Barcelona taking on Atletico Madrid at 8 p.m.
And Dan, talk to me about Marcus Rashford starting tonight for Barcelona. It's a great chance, great stage for him to say to Thomas Tuchel, I want to start at the World Cup.
Absolutely right, and he's got his opportunity. Rafinha's out injured, which makes it slightly easier for him to be selected by Hansi Flick. That would have been interesting if it had been an either or, if they'd both been fit. But he scored goals in the Champions League as well as in La Liga this season, so he's in decent form both domestically and in Europe. Yeah, this is most definitely an opportunity for him to show what he can do up against Molina and the manager's son, Simeone, on that right-hand side for Atletico Madrid. They've just got this extraordinary record now, Barcelona, since they come back to the stadium whilst it was being refitted. Haven't lost a single game. In fact, they've won all their games. They're just imperious at home. But Atleti just have a way of getting in behind the high line, so Rashford might have to do a bit of work defensively, Adrian, to show what he can do to help out his defenders if they try, Atleti, to get Simeone and Lookman away in behind the Barca midfield and their back 4.
And listen, we saw what happened to Newcastle, who probably for 3/4 of the tie over the 2 legs were competitive and gave themselves an opportunity against Barcelona, but completely fell apart after, 10 minutes of the second half of the second leg.
Yes, they did. And you look at that aggregate scoreline that Atleti got against Tottenham, it looks closer than it actually was, in truth. We all know the problems that Spurs had in the first leg, absolutely gifting Atleti goal after goal. But this should be a fairly tight encounter. I think Atleti, they do have a bit of a hex over Barcelona when it comes to the Champions League. I mentioned those 2 quarter-final wins they got a decade and 13 years ago, so they've got form for knocking Barcelona out. And what Barcelona do, Adrian, is they do concede goals. They're not a clean sheet machine particularly, so with players like Griezmann and Alvarez up top for Atletico tonight, then I can't see Barcelona keeping a clean sheet. It's just whether they can take an advantage to the Wanda Metropolitano for leg 2.
Dan, thanks very much. He's going to keep us updated with that one. Atleti with Griezmann against his old club, Simeone, and Atletico Madrid legend, of course, been there so long, and questions now being asked, is he coming to the end of his long reign as Atleti manager? That's it remains to be seen. Big tie tonight, Barcelona against Atletico Madrid. Time now to get an odds update with Ladbrokes.
Odds update on Talk Sport with Ladbrokes. Bet on this season's Champions League action live tonight. Visit ladbrokes.com. 18+ gambleaware.org.
Chris Wood from Ladbrokes is with us. Talk to me about this game we're about to witness here in Paris. PSG against a Liverpool side who might be changing shape and have left Mo Salah on the bench.
Yep, looks an absolute belter of a game tonight. PSG are currently favourites at 3-4, draws in at 3-1, and Liverpool are just slightly bigger than 3-1 at 16-5. It looks like it's going to be a bit of a goal fest. I don't think either team's particularly good in defence. You can back PSG to win and both teams to score at 2-1, Liverpool to win and both teams to score at 5-1, and over 3.5 goals at 11-8. PSG only kept 1 clean sheet in the home in the Champions League this season. You can back them to win and over 3.5 goals at 27-10. And obviously Liverpool won here last year 1-0. You can back a repeat of that. at 12-1. I think Kvaratskhelia has been the man for PSG in the Champions League this year. He's got 7 goals and 4 assists. You can back him at 6-4 to score any time and 18-5 for the assist. I think Achraf Hakimi looks like he's going to get 4 tonight. He's had 5 assists in the Champions League as well. He's 19-4 to get 1 tonight. And Hugo Ekitike, obviously going back to his old club, he's 13-8 to score against them tonight. But the main man's been Szoboszlai for Liverpool this season. He's been the one player who's really stood out. He's got 5 goals in the Champions League and 4 assists. He's 7-2 to score any time and 6-1 to have an assist.
Well, Liverpool are out there warming up at the moment. PSG, Liverpool done. What about the other one tonight? Barcelona against Atletico Madrid.
Yeah, Barca really strong favourites here at 8-15. Look a bit short to me, to be honest. Atletico are 4-1 and the draws are 4-1 as well. Obviously Barcelona won at the weekend and Rashford scored. He's 8-5 to do that again tonight. 11-2 to get the first goal. Lewandowski scored as well after coming on the sub. He's starting tonight. He's shade of odds on 19-20 to score tonight and 11-2 to score 2 or more. Over 3.5 goals there is 10-11. Over 2.5 is 4-11. Barca are 3-10 to qualify and Atletico are 11-5. I think there could be a little bit of value for Atletico at 11-5. Obviously won 4-0 against Barca earlier in the season. Might be slightly underrated and Griezmann would love to do the business against his old club. He's 17-10 to score tonight.
Listen, away first leg wins last night for Arsenal and for Bayern Munich. So how are we looking with the Champions League outrights?
Yeah, I mean, I think of the two, obviously Bayern look way more impressive, even if they did sort of ride their luck a little bit at times. They're 9-4 favourites now to win the whole thing. Arsenal are second in at 5-2. Barcelona are 9-2. PSG are 5-1. Got Liverpool next in at 12-1. Real Madrid obviously got a bit of a mountain to climb in the second leg. They're at 16-1. Atletico are 25-1. Obviously a lot will depend on how they do tonight. And Sporting look like their races run. They're 150-1 outsiders.
Listen, Chris, thanks very much. That was a look at the latest odds with Ladbrokes. 18+, gambleaware.org.
Odds update on Talk Sport with Ladbrokes. Bet on this season's Champions League action live tonight. Visit ladbrokes.com. 18+, gambleaware.org.
Let me just describe the scene here at the Parc des Princes. We're live in the stadium. We're in the Pirelli stand opposite the Paris stand. To our left is the Ortai housing Paris Ultras, and to the right the Bologna stand featuring more PSG Ultras. The Liverpool fans are opposite us in the corner to the right, next to the PSG Ultras, and the Liverpool fans protected by netting in case stuff gets thrown at them. I'm not even joking, that's why the netting is there. But they've got a place in the corner. But let me tell you about these Ultras, because for at least half an hour or more they've been completely energised. It's half red, half blue behind both goals, both ends of the pitch. They're challenging each other, if you like, with what they're doing. They're bouncing up and down, they're singing loud, flags are flying at both ends, or have been flying at both ends of the ground. It's choreographed and well choreographed as well, but not in a cheesy way. It's a visceral thing, it's alive, it's real, it's high energy from behind both goals. It's designed to lift PSG, the European champions, and it is non-stop as well from both sets of Ultras. And when I say Ultras, a lot of people have this feeling that Ultras are necessarily a bad thing. So far, there's been no issues in Paris that we know about, no serious issues. And inside this stadium, the Ultras have just been energised and singing, and they've been entertaining as well. Just watching them gets you up for this game, which is just over half an hour away on TalkSport. Liverpool have got to stay focused. Not only is the energy of the Ultras designed to lift PSG, it's designed to intimidate and unsettle opponents that play here at the Parc des Princes. Liverpool can't get involved in any of that. They've got to focus on the job in hand. It's coming up live on TalkSport. PSG, the European champions, against under fire Liverpool.
Kickoff on Talk Sport with Ladbrokes. 18+, gambleaware.org.
Last night, I was watching an episode of Amadeus where Mozart
exploded, launched another Real Housewife during Shiv Roy's wedding night, where she asks Tom for an open
sandwich, Chicago beef filling, cooked by a chef in a pastel Regency gown. Quite steamy.
You can now get Sky, Hey You, HBO Max, Disney Plus and Netflix together in one subscription. Only with Sky.
Requires Sky Stream and Sky Ultimate TV subscription. Minimum broadband speed of 30 megabits per second recommended. 18 plus.
Next.
Hi, just these, thanks. Do you do cashback?
Just need to check you're not a robot first. New security policy.
OK.
How many traffic lights can you see out the window?
2?
No, that's wrong.
Right, well, obviously I'm not a robot.
That's what a robot would say.
What a load of malarkey. Smarty keeps things simple, like 80 gigabytes for £10. And on a rolling monthly SIM plan, you're free to leave any time. Less malarkey, more Smarty. Search Smarty Mobile.
If your business is accused of damaging a client's property, for example, accidentally pouring tea all over their expensive audio equipment, really sorry about that, by the way, then Hiscox could help protect you. The story of your business, underwritten by Hiscox Business Insurance, subject to already holding a relevant Hiscox policy and subject to policy eligibility, terms and conditions.
Get a free bet when you bet £5 every week of the Premier League season and a big boost every day. That's Ladisfaction from Ladbrokes. And for extra Ladisfaction, here's the T's and C's Garage Style.
18 plus, 1st of September to 24th of May. Opt-in weekly. Selected Premier League markets. Match 1 free bet per week. Values vary. Restrictions and T&Cs apply. Daily odds boosts. T&Cs on ladbrokes.com. Gambleaware.org.
All hail the king. Heavyweight icon Tyson Fury.
The king has returned.
Takes on knockout artist Arslanbek Makhmudov in Netflix's first big UK fight night, live from Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Let's get it on!
A monstrous co-main event clash. Conor Benn stepping into the fire against Regis Prograis.
You think I'm scared of you?
Streaming live April 11th, only on Netflix.
If you don't like that, change station.
Champions League live on TalkSport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk.
Talk Sport Sports Headlines with Bostik. For professional grade sealants with easy application and a perfect finish, pros trust Bostik.
Good evening, I'm Hugo Chambray. Alexander Isak could play for Liverpool for the first time since December tonight. He's in the squad for their clash with PSG. That's coming up live on TalkSport. Meanwhile, Marcus Rashford starts for Barca against Atletico. We'll also bring you all the action from the Nou Camp. Elsewhere, Leicester City have lost their appeal against a 6-point deduction for breaching EFL financial rules. And Harlequins have signed England Rugby Union international George Furbank from Northampton for next season. There's more at TalkSport.com.
Hi, man, it's TalkSport, Pet.
It's a station on the dial that's been here for a while. That's TalkSport, alright.
That's TalkSport, alright.
Our live Premier League is more fun than the beep. That's TalkSport, alright.
That's TalkSport, alright.
It's the easiest way to have your own say, from Champions League to world title fights. Then the other team calls and they're all talking balls. That's TalkSport, alright.
Anyway, man, it's a bed of a radio station for canny sport and lads and lasses. TalkSport, it's a real Bobby Dazzler.
TalkSport sitting high above the pitch at the Parkday Prancers. Both sets of players are out warming up with just under half an hour to kick off. We've got live commentary of this one. 13 months ago, Liverpool won 1-0 here. Alisson made 9 terrific saves at least. PSG 27 shots, 10 on target. Couldn't get past the Brazilian, who is not in nets for Liverpool this evening. Arne Slot said yesterday that game could have been 4 or 5 or even more to PSG. Liverpool need big performances from their big players tonight live on TalkSport, but one of those big players has been left on the bench. Time now to look at the latest football action with Ladbrokes.
The big preview on TalkSport with Ladbrokes. Bet on this season's Champions League action live tonight. Visit ladbrokes.com. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
A reminder of the two teams then. Here's your commentator on TalkSport in Paris, Jim Proudfoot.
2 changes in personnel and a possible change of shape for Liverpool. The omission of Mo Salah in favour of Frimpong suggests the Reds may play with a back 3. Salah drops to a bench that also includes the returning Isak. McAllister comes in for Jones in midfield. PSG retained it at the weekend. The injured Barcola and Fabian Ruiz, their only absentees. What will be their first choice 11? It's Mamadashvili in goal for Liverpool. Frimpong, Konate, Van Dijk, Gomez and Kerkez. A probable back 5 Soboslai, Gravenberg and McAllister, and then Wirtz of Ekitike. For PSG, Safanov in goal, Hakimi, Marquinhos, Pancho and Nuno Mendes, Zaire Emery, Vitinha, João Neves, Kvaratskhelia, Dembele and Doué. And Kickoff at just a shade under 30 minutes away.
Cheers, Jim. That's all thanks to Ladbrokes 18+ gambleaware.org.
The big preview on Talk Sport with Ladbrokes. Bet on this season's Champions League action live tonight. Visit ladbrokes.com. 18+ gambleaware.org.
So it's 1 win in 5 for Liverpool, but the alarm bells were ringing very, very loud after the FA Cup defeat at Man City on Saturday. Live and exclusive on TalkSport, that one. No doubt Arne Slot is under pressure. Stand by for the voices of Reds legend Steven Gerrard, who was on breakfast earlier this week, Drive King Darren Bent, former Liverpool midfielder Dietmar Hamann, and Slot himself.
And Haaland has a hat-trick. Liverpool are being utterly dismantled.
It was really worrying and concerning the way Liverpool did crumble. And also even more alarming what the players are saying after the game. Saying there's no fight, we gave the game up.
I didn't see players giving up in that part of the game.
Right-footed effort from Talby! Sunderland lead at Anfield.
If Liverpool don't finish in the Champions League this season, I don't see how he stays.
And there's Welbeck! Danny Welbeck from close range puts Brighton in front. Weak defending from Liverpool.
It's vital and it's essential for the club to finish in the top 5. If Alonso wants a job in the summer, as we read, as we hear, it's probably his.
Schade, he's in, he scores, and Liverpool are 2-0 down.
There are now our 2 objectives to play for, and that's Champions League and qualifying for the Champions League.
Can Liverpool really win this Champions League this season? Not many will say yes with any kind of conviction or confidence. And what about qualifying via Premier League placing? We now know top 5 will make it into the Champions League next season. Liverpool are currently 5th, Chelsea a point behind them with a much better goal difference, and then it's Brentford and Everton. They're 3 points behind Liverpool in 7th and 8th respectively. Liverpool have Fulham at home Saturday. Then it's the first ever Merseyside derby at Hill Dickinson Stadium. After that, Palace, Chelsea and Brentford at home, mixed in with Man United and Aston Villa away. That's a tricky run-in. They face 5 of the top 8 in their remaining 7 Premier League games. And we just heard Arne Slot there, Stuart Pearce, setting out his own target of Champions League football next season for Liverpool. So Stuart, does that mean he is accepting, Arne Slot, that if he doesn't achieve that target, that he realises he may well be gone this summer?
Well, I think when you spend the money that he has over certainly the last window, last summer, there's an expectation, and your league champions, there is an expectation if you do fall away, the worst case scenario would be still Champions League football next year. So, listen, it will be a major blow for this football club with the investment that they put into it to drop out the Champions League, that is for sure. And I think they'll be in it personally.
It's a weird one, isn't it? Because he could be gone in the summer, or he could be celebrating winning the Premier League in his first season and Champions League in his second season. We don't know the outcome yet.
No. Are you going to put money on that happening?
No.
No, I didn't think so.
Normally, maybe, yeah.
Exactly, if you can find it. To be honest with you, listen, I think this season you've almost got to draw a line under. You know, Salah's not played particularly well, new players settling in, Diogo Jota in the summer, that tragedy that happened to the football club and the dressing room. And I think so much has gone on this year at the football club. I think it's almost, if you're running the club, just say, look, let's just steady the ship a little bit. You know what I mean? Let's just have a look at the squad. Which players do we need to move out potentially? Which players do we need to move in? Have we got some youngsters coming through and that are going to supplement what we've got? And how do we move it forward? I would still move it forward with the same manager, personally, but I'm more tolerant than most.
You, Jim and I spoke about the impact the Diogo Jota tragedy would have had on the dressing room and how it affects people in different ways. And sometimes there's a delayed effect, sometimes it's immediate, sometimes there's no effect that you can actually see, but underneath the surface there may well be an impact, and it has to come into the discussion when you're analysing and assessing Liverpool's season, doesn't it?
100% it does. I mean, it was a tragedy of the highest order. him and his brother, incredible. We all couldn't believe the news. I think I was working on Jim White's show in the morning. We had a whole sort of show ready to roll, and all of a sudden that news dropped, and it took everybody in football by storm. It really did. If you're even closer to him, a teammate, that type of thing, you can't underestimate how much of an impact he's had on this club.
No, absolutely right, and people shouldn't forget it. I agree with that. That's what made it really surprising to me, given what had happened to everybody, including Arne Slot at the football club. They were all in some way impacted by it. When Mo Salah came out and said he's got no relationship with the manager, if you remember that a couple of months ago,
yep,
majorly surprised by him going so public against the manager in a difficult season. And it was almost like it was swept under the carpet a little bit, but I haven't forgotten it. And I think that's a really strange thing for such a prominent leader on the pitch to do.
Yeah, personally, having managed before and played, I think it was underpinned with frustration from Salah about his own performances. Look, he'll be so disappointed with himself, you know what I mean? His performances have not mirrored last season. He was a major part in securing the Premier League trophy for Liverpool and wrestling it away from Manchester City, and the frustration that he must be suffering. You've got to look no further than last Saturday's performance. He missed a gilt-edged chance in the first half. He's missed another one at the other end. That telltale, when he's on form, he kills him into the far corner easily. He skied it. It was an awful effort. And then from the penalty spot, you're almost got your heart in your mouth for him. I'm no Liverpool fan, but I'm thinking, please let someone else take it. You know what I mean? You almost want to take him out the firing line, and the manager's done that tonight.
Yeah, he's taken him out tonight. A lot of people said he didn't take him off soon enough in the cup tie against City. Would you agree with that?
Well, it's a story in itself once again, isn't it? You know what I mean? If the game's lost and the game's gone away from you, you might bring one or two players off to look after him. If he had it on his mind, I'm not starting him here, you're just as well playing the 90-odd minutes at Man City.
On Salah and why? There's a reason why. Is it just a drop-off in form? For him it might be, but this is the season where Arne Slot has brought in new players and maybe changed that style. A lot of Liverpool fans say it's a lot slower and it's a bit boring, a little bit dull. And maybe, Mo Salah must be looking behind him thinking, why are all these players bimbling around? Salah, he loves that high energy. He loved the Jurgen Klopp style, didn't he? And now it's all so slow. Has that impacted his numbers, his performances?
The answer to your question is definitely yes. It's impacted how Liverpool play. It's slowed them up a hell of a lot. I've got to say, they come out and delivered a performance which was a throwback against Galatasaray at Liverpool, and you thought, well, come on then, keep that going. Then all of a sudden they've dropped off on momentum. There's such a fragility within the group at the moment. You can see it with your eyes, you know what I mean? People questioning each other. Ball hits the back of the net. Van Dijk's looking at Szoboszlai. They're having a little niggle with each other. Szoboszlai's looking over at the technical area. And the defence mechanisms are up with all the players. They need a real big performance tonight just to steady the ship for the football club in many ways.
Well, Arne Slot was asked here in the press conference last night about, what gives him that positivity to think that they can come over here and win this tie. And he talked about the Galatasaray game, and they were brilliant. That's their one win in 5. But he also talked about, the opening 20 minutes, half an hour against Manchester City, when they at least competed with Man City. It didn't look like it was going to be the walkover it turned out to be. And actually, during that cup commentary, Stuart Pearce on TalkSport on Saturday, you observed that some Liverpool players had given up. That was the word you used. Captain Virgil van Dijk then said you were right. He admitted, used the same phrase, he said he admitted Liverpool gave up. Arne Slot yesterday here at the Parc des Princes disagreed with his captain, and then Florian Wirtz came out in his press conference, also disagreed with his own captain. So have they got to say that in the build-up to the game? They can't say, we gave up, Virgil's right. Or are they actually genuinely disagreeing with their captain?
I know what I saw with my own eyes at the weekend, and I think the captain was correct and very honest to say what he did. I'm in full agreement with what he said. I think a few of the players did throw the towel in. at the weekend when the game had gone away from them, you know, niggling with each other, maybe a lack of effort, all of those type of things. The bottom line is, as soon as Saturday's gone though, you should only have one thing on your mind: how can we get a performance tonight and going forward? So there's no point harking back and doing press conferences yesterday and saying, at the weekend we all give up. There's no mileage in that age. You know what I always say, get your win-win. Where's your win-win out of this? The bottom line is their win-win is focusing on this game tonight.
Well, if Liverpool have a win-win against PSG, they'll be in the semi-finals of the Champions League. On Virgil van Dijk, he's coming up 35 in the summer. It actually surprised me. I didn't realise he was at that age, and you played so long after 35. I think you played in a back three as well for some of that period as well. Back three could help him tonight, but he's got to look at his own performance as well, because he's not been the leader they need, has he?
No, he hasn't. As I say, his leadership comes from not just what he stands for on a pitch, his performances, and his performances have been slightly under par by his standards. The trouble with this Liverpool team, if it is a trouble, they've set such high standards for themselves. It's like we nitpick Phil Foden. They've hit such heights that you slip off that 10%, 15%, and all of a sudden it stands out. It's glaring, to be honest with you. The average Ollies tick along and they go under our media radar. We accept that, you know what I mean? But the big hitters like Salah, like Van Dijk, like Foden, you drop off of your standards you set yourself and it stands out. And that's all of a sudden where people from the outside start questioning you. I was fortunate. I ended up going to clubs at West Ham from the age of 36, 37 that played a three at the back. Really helped me in my age, having young players like Rio Ferdinand alongside me, and younger legs, Trevor Sinclair. So it was brilliant for me. And maybe Virgil, if you're going to get the best out of him, that three at the back, I think the centre of a three would be absolutely idyllic for him going forward. And there's no reason why he can't play for another 3-4 years, whatever he wants.
Well, if it is going to be a back three, they've got to cope with a front three that we'll look at next on TalkSport. And listen to the noise in the Parkway Branch. The Ultras are at it again, full volume, full energy, with 15 minutes to kick off here at the Parkway Branch. You're listening to the Champions League live on TalkSport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, they're here for him.
Kickoff on TalkSport with Ladbrokes. 18plusgambleaware.org.
Rory McIlroy, Masters champion.
You think it doesn't get any better than that, but they thought that before. After Scheffler, after Matsuyama, after Tiger, all 5 times. Because that's the thing with the Masters. Just when you think there's nothing left to surprise you, it shows you how wrong you are. It's Masters time. Watch every moment live on Sky Sports, stream flexibly on Now.
18 plus, UK only. Minimum speed 2.5 megabits per second. Live scheduling MIDI subject to change. All terms apply.
The all-new, all-electric Toyota CHR Plus. Sleek, stylish and quietly reliable. Available with 0% APR representative with £1,500 deposit contribution and save £1,500 with the electric car grant. Get that Toyota electric feeling. Visit your nearest Toyota centre. Price from 34495. Available on Toyota PCP when financed through Toyota Financial Services by 30th of June 2026. Optional final payment. Indemnities may be required. See website. T's and C's apply.
Get a nose ahead this Grand National with Betfred. We're paying 6 places when you place an each-way bet. Back a horse for their form, their trainer, or because their silks match your lucky socks. However you pick them, get a nose ahead with Betfred's 6-place payout. Want to bet? Betfred. Online only, 6 places at 1 to 5 odds, single and multiple bets placed from 12 p.m. on the 8th of April to 4 p.m. on the 11th of April 2026. Winner each way market only. Best odds guaranteed, does not apply. T's and C's apply. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
This Easter, the action's best when shared. Whatever the weather, Team Sport Indoor Karting, the UK's #1 indoor karting experience, is ready for you. And this Easter, race before 1 p.m. and we'll include free bonus coaching sessions. Get adrenalised at your nearest Team Sport Karting. And coming soon to Brent Cross. Save 10% when booking online. Use the code GET10 on the Team Sport website. Verification at team-sport.co.uk.
Who are you going for at Aintree?
The favourite. The favourite.
The favourite without a doubt. This Aintree Festival, everyone's going for the free favourite pull-out in the sun. It's jam-packed with top tips and form guides for all the runners and riders. And a free £2 in-shop bet with Coral for the Grand National. Get your free favourite pull-out in the sun every day of Aintree. T's and C's apply. 18 plus only. BeGambleAware.org.
Still starting from zero on your poker site? Seriously, why? Sort yourself out at GG
GG Poker, the world's biggest online poker room. This April, new depositing players are straight in at Octopus reward status. That's up to 50% rate back for the rest of the year. No grind, no slog. Start strong. GG Poker. No one starts from zero. 18 plus, new UK players only. Minimum deposit $10 required. Ends 30th of April. To verify and for conditions, see promo.ggpoker.co.uk/talksport. Gambleaware.org.
Champions League live on TalkSport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, we're here for it.
Initiate adrenaline pumps. Kickoff live on TalkSport.
Kvaratskhelia trying to get in behind Sarr, and Kvaratskhelia scores. That's probably tie over straight away as the tormentor in chief from the first leg does it again.
Oh, brilliant, 1-1. A stunning effort from one of the best teenagers in world football.
Through the middle here is Ousmane Dembele. Checks back onto the right foot again. Dembele! Oh, that's masterful! That is champagne football!
This first leg, when really, if they play well, they could put Liverpool away.
Well, the front of the daily sports paper here, L'Équipe has a picture of the Paris Saint-Germain front three tonight. Kvaratskhelia, Dembele and Doué, with carefully chosen and carefully positioned photos of Liverpool's French internationals Hugo Ekitike and Ibrahima Konate, and both of them are looking very worried. Both of them positioned where they're staring at the PSG trio, almost in awe of them, and any wonder they are something else. You're listening to the Champions League live on TalkSport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk. A blue and red light show is underway in a darkened Parc des Princes. There's smoke billowing out of smoke machines in front of the fans all around the ground as well. I think we're awaiting the tifo to our left here from the Paris Saint-Germain Ultras as well. We'll try and translate for you. And listen, it may be a back three for Liverpool, but that front three is going to take some containing. There's a Ballon d'Or winner in there. There's Kvaratskhelia, who embarrassed Chelsea. Doué got a couple in the Champions League final in Munich at the end of last season. Konate constantly questioned. Van Dijk, as we said before, approaching 35 and starting maybe to look it, if I dare be, that unfair. It's how Liverpool plan to deal with that electric front three. And Stuart Pearce, let me take you to the Chelsea game actually, because I thought that was really interesting. Chelsea were competitive for long periods in the game. It wasn't until the last 15 minutes or so that PSG really started to stretch away. 3 quick goals. But actually Chelsea, their fullbacks were high, their players were higher up the pitch. It was a deliberate tactic from Rafinha, and they were matching Paris Saint-Germain until Jorgensen, the keeper, made a massive blunder. Then there was a worldie from Kvaratskhelia, who came off the bench, and then another blunder for the fifth. And 5-2 sounds heavy, but actually for about 70 odd minutes Liam Rafinha tactically got it right here.
Yeah, listen, you can stay in games against powerhouses in Europe, but you've got to stay in games and take your chance and not cede silly goals, or not, as the pressure builds and builds and builds, buckle. That's what you've got to do. That's the nature of the game. So it's all very well. Recently we've been to a cup final and watched Manchester City be under some pressure in the first half against Arsenal, ride the pressure, they picked the trophy up at the end of it. Man City done the same again. Half hour, I saw Liverpool the better side. They ride the pressure and they get the ascendancy. That's what the top teams do. They soak up the pressure, they don't buckle under the pressure, and that's exactly what Liverpool have got to do tonight. Do not buckle under the pressure that they're going to be on if they're going to get a result.
But they are brilliant, that front three for Paris Saint-Germain, aren't they?
They certainly are.
They're irresistible.
There is no doubt about that.
Absolutely right. Away to our left, they've unfurled a banner. Ce soir, réveille le hoc qui est en vous. Tonight, you can wake up the giant that is within you, urging the PSG players to come out and beast Liverpool tonight. There's banners hanging down from the roof with projections onto them of the PSG players as their names are read out. They're onto the subs at the minute. Mayulu and the crowd are responding to those names as they're read out, and their faces in kit are projected onto those banners. It's quite the sight, quite the pre-match here at the Parc des Princes. And away to our right, more tifos coming out, and it's the Hulk developing from your ordinary Parisian, just wearing glasses, ordinary bloke, wearing a replica shirt, looking normal. You wouldn't look twice at him other than think that he's a nerd. That's the picture on the left on the tifo. Middle one, he's tearing his hair out seemingly, getting angry. And the third one, he is the Hulk. He's bursting open. That chest has grown massively, and he has gone. He is electric.
It reminds me of Proudfoot at the buffet, if truth be known. He's a normal individual at the start. He gets his eyes on that buffet, and all of a sudden he just rips his gear off and dives into it, rubs it in, eats it, does the whole lot. We've just got to hope that the big boy Proudfoot is the only Hulk in this stadium tonight, and it's not PSG for England's sake.
And actually he is built like that Hulk, to be honest with you. Those pecs are something else. There's another tifo being unfurled away to our left, and it's an even bigger Hulk. Chest bursting through the shirts, fists clenched. It's fearsome. This is what the fans are bringing, never mind what the front three are bringing for Paris Saint-Germain on the pitch tonight. Off the pitch, PSG have nailed it. And just away in the corner to our right, the Liverpool fans who have travelled are just watching it. There's a couple of thousand of them. They're just watching it, and there's nothing they can do about it. They can't compete with this. They've just got to hope that Slot's tactics and selection pay off tonight, and they have got something to sing about during the game. Flamethrowers all around the perimeter of the pitch, lighting up the night sky inside the Parc des Princes. Those tifos still stick there, they stay there, and the players as they walk out any moment will see those Liverpool fans will look one way, see the Hulk, they'll look the other way and see the Hulk and wonder what on earth they have walked into. It is quite the night here at the Parc des Princes. The PSG fans have delivered again. It might be a relatively new, modern club, but they know how to get ready for a game. You just heard the fireworks go off, smoke filling the air in the Parc des Princes, and the flamethrowers still going on. Bright lights now strobing around the perimeter of this pitch, and all that's left is for the players to get out here and get the game underway. But I tell you what, if I was one of those Liverpool players, I'd be coming out here thinking I need to focus, because this is enough to take anybody's mind off the football. The fans know exactly what they're doing, and they're supporting their team. And this is what happens at many grounds across Europe on big nights in the Champions League. And these are the European champions, and the fans are letting everybody know they're the best on the pitch and they're the best off it as well. More fireworks shoot up into the night sky. It's one of the best pre-matches I have ever seen, as the floodlights come back on and there's applause all around the grounds. That was truly sensational. And now we get ready for action, and now the officials lead the players out onto the pitch here in the French capital, in Paris, in the Parc des Princes. Onto the pitch they step. We've got Villa and Forest in the Europa League live on the TalkSport network tomorrow night. But let's focus on tonight and let's listen to the noise. The famous Anfield anthem says it won't ever happen, but it really looks like Arne Slot is walking alone. He's got to hold his head up high and don't be afraid of the Parc des Princes. Liverpool won here last year. They need to do it again tonight. Live on TalkSport, it's European champions Paris Saint-Germain against Liverpool, with former England captain Stuart Pearce alongside your commentator Jim Proudfoot.
Thank you, Adrian, and a very good evening to you. As Liverpool return to the City of Light, hoping that the remaining glimmers of their frustrating season won't be extinguished. So much has happened in the 13 months since they were last here. Coronation, elation and frustration. And whilst the defence of their Premier League title has foundered, they now find themselves in their first Champions League quarter-final for 4 years. Against them, the European champions still basking in the glory of their finest hour and eyeing and expecting a repeat. It was Liverpool who came closest to eliminating the Parisians last season. Foundations laid here at the Parc des Princes on a night when a goalkeeping masterclass made it an Alisson wonderland, only for Harvey Elliott's first leg winner to be cancelled out at Anfield before their shootout despair. When the sides met then, Liverpool were 13 points clear at the top of the Premier League. Times have changed, but the Reds' history is punctuated with tales of the unlikely, of continental heroics when the chips are down, of famous nights when they've defied mounting odds. They need to go to the well again, heads held high through the ensuing storm, hoping that this is the tie that brings that golden sky. Liverpool lining up, Mamadashvili in goal. We're expecting a back three, Kanade, Van Dijk and Gomez, Frimpong and Kerkez at wing-back, Soboslai, Gravenberch and McAllister in midfield, and Wirtz off Ekatike as he returns for the first time to the Parc des Princes. Safanov's in goal for his former employer, Hakimi Marquinhos, Pancho and Nuno Mendes, Zaire Emery, Vitinha and João Neves, Kvaratskhelia, Dembele and Doué, a fearsome front three, although they've scored 36 goals between them, that front three, at this stage this season. They had 51 between them at this stage last season. On the bench for Liverpool, Isak, Salah, Chiesa, Jones, Gakpo, Robertson, Nioni, Gamoa, Woodman and Mischuk, the two substitute goalkeepers. And for PSG, Lucas Beraldo, Zabani, Gonzalo Ramos and Lee, Lucas Hernandez, Mayulu, Dro and Bai, and Chevalier and Marine wait in reserve if anything happens to Safanov. The referee tonight, Jose Maria Sanchez, the Spaniard who officiated PSG's defeat at Villa last season. Well, we'll know in a moment if it is going to be a back three. Stuart, before a ball is kicked, is that the right decision?
Whether it is or whether it isn't, I don't think that will be the defining factor on whether Liverpool wins this game. I think it will be taking your chances, defending stoutly. They're going to have to probably defend in a 5, even if they, on paper, were trying to defend with a 4. Your wide players have got to drop back into slot and double up. There is no doubt about that, Jim. So it's going to be incredible. And looking at this stadium, sorry Jim, looking at this stadium, people tell me you can't get an atmosphere when you're so far away from the pitch. Well, come on.
Well, the 47,000 in the Parc des Princes are rising to their feet. Liverpool just breaking from their huddle now and will make their way around the centre circle. Their PSG counterparts already there for a tribute to one of the veteran coaches of European football, Mircea Lucescu, the Romanian who we've lost over the last few days. Well, if last April brought Premier League glory, this April is all about Europe. Living this season's Champions League dream and instigating next season's. Liverpool back in Paris and on the back of their biggest defeat in 5.5 years, needing inspiration and resilience as they go head-to-head with the European champions. Liverpool lining up. At the moment it's a back one, the way that they're lining up from this kickoff, where they've got 7 in a line on the halfway line. Ball's laid back for Konate, and he now slams it forward for Liverpool into PSG territory. We're underway. The Reds in all red tonight. And Paris Saint-Germain also in their customary colours as well, predominantly dark blue with a red central stripe. And the whole game live on TalkSport.
Yeah, we were wondering whether it'd be a 5 at the back. The answer is yes, but Gomez has gone from where we thought he'd be right central defender. He's gone to left central defender in a 3, and that probably makes more sense in my eyes. It makes Van Dijk play the centre of the 3, and I think that suits him slightly better, and there's a better balance to their back line. as long as Gomez can play well in that role.
So it is Konate on the right of the three, Van Dijk in the middle, and Joe Gomez on the left. Frimpong playing at right wing back, and Milos Kerkez at left wing back. And Stefanov takes his first goal kick of the night. And Konate going up for it, wins in the air. The ball out of play for a throw that will be taken by Kvaratskhelia. This game brought to you in association with TNT Sports, the home of European football. And Pacho plays it across towards Marquinhos, who these days is only playing Champions League football. He's not featured in the league for weeks and weeks, but has been wheeled out for all of these Champions League games. He's still performing at a very high level in this competition, more than 100 Champions League ties behind him. João Neves picking up the ball in the midfield, plays it to Vitinha, the former Wolves man, back for Marquinhos, and out to Achraf Hakimi on the PSG right. Back again for Marquinhos on the edge of his own penalty area. Pacho on the stretch to divert the ball down towards Nuno Mendes. His ball forward, bypasses the Liverpool midfield, and now Hakimi's got it, drifting in from the left, playing towards the edge of the penalty area. McAllister's going to be able to mop that up after a potentially dangerous little flick from Dembele, who now has it again, but he's got Szoboszlai goal side of him. And Dembele works it back for Nuno Mendes, but there's plenty of fluidity about this PSG side in the early stage of Liverpool. Have sprung a slight surprise by going with the back five. And PSG have got Hakimi cropping up all over the place inside the opening 5 minutes.
Yeah, Liverpool have got to make sure that their wing-backs, they either stay in slot or they jump up aggressively. If they go, the resulting central defenders, left and right, have got to follow in as well, and that will enable Van Dijk to come across and cover the hole, which he didn't do on that occasion.
Just for a moment, Konate's playing in the middle of the three with Van Dijk on the right. That might just be the way that things are progressing in this passage of play, with PSG on the ball in the midfield on halfway, and João Neves has possession. He's worked it to his right-hand side for one Zaire Emery, who becomes the youngest player ever in Champions League history tonight to play 40 ties in the competition. He's not long past his 20th birthday. He's beaten Jude Bellingham's record. Vitinha nudging it away from Hugo Ekitike. Out to the PSG right-hand side. Still 0-0 here on TalkSport in the early exchanges here, with 3.5 minutes gone. And Zaire Emery has it 10 yards inside his own half before laying it back for João Neves. PSG 4 points at the clear at the top of Liga, with the game in hand as well. And significantly, they now have a break. They've managed to get this weekend's league match, which is effectively the title decider if it isn't already decided, against Lens, moved to later in the season, so they can have a clear weekend between these two quarter-final ties. It hasn't gone down well. João Neves has it inside the centre circle. It's easy PSG possession at the moment. Liverpool just staying disciplined. Vitinha has dropped his shot, he's got away from Gravenberch, then hits one to his left-hand side for Kvaratskhelia, faced up by Frimpong, turns it back through the midfield away from Wirtz. João Neves has it, side-foots it out towards the right-hand side. Zaire Emery now making a good run towards the edge of the penalty area. Warren Zaire Emery lays it back for Vitinha, wearing 17 for PSG. Kvaratskhelia just cropping up on the right-hand side for a moment. Another example of the fluidity, with the Doué coming out to this left. I think by and large they will play the other way round. João Neves to his right for Hakimi. Kvaratskhelia takes over. Hakimi now at right back, coming in off the right-hand touchline. Plays it back for Marquinhos. Liverpool have got to make sure that they're not fazed by the fact that they're hardly getting a kick at the moment. They'll have one now as a long Vitinha ball over the top beats everybody. It was overhit and goes out of play for a goal kick that Mamardashvili will take for Liverpool with 5.5 minutes in. On TalkSport, it's 0-0. And these are the thoughts of the former England captain, Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head there, Jim, when you said fluidity of the PSG team. Their build-up's brilliant, the interchange, the movement around the players, and Liverpool got to make sure they either keep that back five in slot or stay with runners. They cannot afford to get fragmented because this big PSG team will find the gaps.
So it's interesting in the game that they played against Chelsea and played against Newcastle here, where the starting tactic for PSG was to keep the fullbacks pretty deep, and they were just trying to draw the opposition wing-backs or wingers onto them. And then once they'd done that for 15 or 20 minutes and the opposition were getting confident, that was then when they tried to spring in behind and make the most of the space. It'll be interesting to see whether they try and go the same way tonight. Initially they haven't. They have been getting the ball, particularly Hakimi down the right. This is the first opportunity for Liverpool, though. Joe Gomez with the ball in his hand. He's just dried it on a white towel. Now throws it in towards an ear post, looking for a flick on that wasn't forthcoming. Half cleared. Dembele pokes it further away. And Kirkes will be there first for Liverpool, but he's forced to go 50 yards back for his goalkeeper. Mamadashvili controls it with his first touch. Sends a long one out towards Ekitike. Played forward by him towards Wirtz, who looked offside. The Pancho mops up. There was no flag. And Nuno Mendes gets it forward down the Parisian left. Out towards Kvaratskhelia. Zaire Emery makes a lung-busting run out to his left. It's worked back the other way, though, for Dembele. Hakimi under pressure from Joe Gomez. Doué back through the midfield. Another ball over the top. Looks as though that might be too long. Hakimi chasing up, just done really well. He's kept it in. Down by the dead ball line. Liverpool, nearly everybody back inside the penalty area. Szoboszlai makes a challenge on the edge of the box to poke it away from Doué. Forward it comes again from Marquinhos. PSG playing at a decent tempo. Will slow it down and have passages of play where there are passes that go forward 5-6 yards and a lot goes sideways, but when they do inject tempo into it, they really mean business. Dembele, Doué, back for Vitinha. Vitinha's 15 yards outside the penalty area. Nice turn from him. Side-footed forward. Van Dijk can gobble that one up. Szoboszlai immediately ran down a cul-de-sac. And Vitinha's got it back. Vitinha tried to lay it down the inside right. Channel Kirkes shepherds it over the line. And out of play for a goal kick that will be taken by Liverpool with 8 minutes gone. And neither goalkeepers had a save to make it 0-0.
Yeah, we touched on it before the game with Aid. Liverpool have got to be prepared to suffer. Stay in the game, even if they're suffering. That's not a problem. It's not the end of the world. But when they do turn it over, they cannot afford to give it away, which they've done so cheaply on this occasion. They've got to make sure they play their way out of trouble and counter-attack.
Well, through the opening 8.5 minutes, possession is 87-13 in PSG's favour. But they haven't had a shot as yet. There's been nothing to worry Liverpool unduly. It's a Parisian side that have scored more than 100 goals in all competitions, even if they're not scoring them with quite the regularity that they were 12 months ago. That was a season in which they had a good start, bimbled around halfway through the season, and then really came good. They're taking a good quick throw here. Vitinha forward through the midfield. Liverpool just switching off. Dembele, excellent ball switched out to the right. Doué's got it, left-footed effort, well blocked by Kirkes. Comes back out for Hakimi. Hakimi to Vitinha, lay back for Marquinhos. Nuno Mendes will push forward. Liverpool will immediately be having an inquest as to how there was so much space from a routine throw in the centre of midfield there. Back it comes for Vitinha. Vitinha rolled forward into the feet of Doué and straight back again, and now back for Nuno Mendes. That is something that Liverpool are going to have to watch, though. That throw took about 5 out of the picture. Yeah,
as I say, Liverpool trying to swamp the area where the throw was taken, but it only takes one person to switch off. Is exactly what happened. They were out, and they were very clinical when they got out of the press.
Marquinhos played back to Pacho. João Neves. Now Vitinha. He's midway inside the PSG half. Szoboszlai often will be the player that will push forward and try and engage with the midfielders when they drop deep, and you can expect that one He's going to drop back between the two centre-halves more often than not. They've got the ball upfield again easily here with Doué, Vitinha, space for Dembele, can't get himself into a shooting position initially, rides a challenge of Gravenberch and works it wide. Doué's inside the penalty area, right-footed effort, deflected and in, and PSG lead inside 11 minutes. An element of luck about the goal. Desiree Doué buying a ticket from the edge of the penalty area. The deflection all important. It's looped it up over Mamanashvili. And Liverpool, who have been really poor when they've got 1-0 down in games throughout the course of this season, trail inside 11 minutes.
Well, Liverpool been pulled all around. You're talking about suffering but dealing with that. They haven't managed to do that. They've been pulled around so much, and then it was a speculative shot really from the edge of the box that took a wicked deflection with topspin. I've got to say, it was Konate who stepped in front of a challenge and missed it that started the problem. Then all of a sudden Doué just stepped inside. Really, they had enough players around, and it's just there's 3-4 players around the ball, not tight enough, and it's got an awful deflection and just looped in with topspin above the goalie. And what's the reaction like?
Well, there have been a few occasions this season where Virgil van Dijk has turned his back on a shot that comes in from distance, hasn't been prepared to stand firm and wear it. And listen, that is really easy for me to say, I appreciate that. But that was another example that he hasn't made himself as big as possible to try and block a shot. And whether that is just instinct or not, I don't know. But it's 1-0. And Liverpool have plenty of work to do, you thought anyway, already behind. And Konate's been brought down here. Go back to that statistic that we were talking about at the weekend. There have been 18 occasions this season where Liverpool have gone 1-0 down in games in League and Cup, and they have lost 14 of those 18. They've come back to win twice, have had a couple of draws, but have lost the rest. And haven't had a great resilience when things have started to unravel, and we saw that after a brilliant opening 30 minutes at Manchester City at the weekend. But when it started going wrong, it unravelled pretty quickly. They've got to make sure that doesn't happen tonight. What can they do from this free kick? Szoboszlai standing over it. It's outside range. It's chipped it in. Van Dijk trying to head it back towards the penalty spot. Pacho then heads that away. Back in from Kirkis. Volley cleared by Kvaratskhelia. Break could be on if the defensive header wasn't won by Szoboszlai. It was. Then Gomez turns it down and couldn't find Gravenberch. And here they come again. Zaire Emery taking on Frimpong out towards the left. And he's done well to get past 3 challenges, but eventually Wirtz comes back to win it back. And Szoboszlai ends up getting a throw, but PSG are up for this.
Well, PSG are up for it. I'll tell you who else are, the crowd in here as well. It's almost gladiatorial in this arena at the moment.
You're listening to Paris Saint-Germain against Liverpool in the Champions League. It's live on TalkSport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, they're here for it. Pacho, with some defending to do, hooks the ball over his left shoulder. Frimpong mops it up, goes back for his goalkeeper, and Mamanashvili will launch it long. Ekitike going up for it, has done well to win it in the battle with Marquinhos, his former teammate. Wirtz then, Ekitike, and Ekitike controls the ball, and then here's the whistle and stops. And there was a relatively innocuous collision in the midfield, but Nuno Mendes was caught, and the free kick's gone PSG's way. It's 1-0 to the Parisians, and you're with TalkSport.
Yeah, Wirtz unlucky there. I think it's the slightest of touches. Free kick given on Dembele, and it's really a case of character now. It really is. This PSG team, I've got to say, Jim, they've started fantastically confidently, haven't they?
Confidence born of a winning run of 4. They've only lost 2 of their last 14 games. They haven't been completely impenetrable here. Beaten in this competition by Bayern, beaten in the league by Monaco, beaten in the cup by city rivals Paris FC, which was a massive shock. A famous night in the history of the capital's other club. So they have had 3 home defeats this season. Liverpool away from home have lost as many as they've won. 10 wins, 10 defeats, and 3 draws on the road this season, and they're trailing here. But they've got to make sure that they just hang in there. If they were to lose 1-0 tonight, that is not, I would suggest, a bad result. And it certainly gives themselves, at very least, a puncher's chance going into next week's second leg. Maybe better than that. Here's Florian Wirtz down towards Frimpong. First time ball delivered from him. Blocked easily by Nuno Mendes, who then gave it away. Ryan Gravenberch winning it back. Szoboszlai for Frimpong, right hand side of the penalty area. His aerial ball a little bit too high. Alexis McAllister picking it up on the edge of the box, goes backwards. Gomez measures the ball down to the right hand side of the area for Wirtz. Wirtz and Frimpong. That was a poor return ball from Jeremy Frimpong. And then it's cleared by Nuno Mendes, who was judged to have taken a nick off Wirtz on his way out. And it's a Parisian throw. They lead by a goal to nil.
Yeah, as Frimpong's got himself, and I've seen it over the subsequent few weeks, he's got himself in really good positions. He's keen to get forward. Just got to improve that crossing ability. Hit the first man first time out and just feathered one up just too far. He'll improve as time goes on, no doubt.
Zaire Emery, Hakimi putting himself under pressure on the edge of his own penalty area with a poor first touch. It wasn't a great ball anyway, and he made a bit of a mess of dealing with it. Ekitike, and then trying to win it back and take advantage of Hakimi's error, but the ball ends up going out of play. Two sides met, of course, in the round of 16 last season. PSG winning on penalties after Darwin Núñez and Curtis Jones both missed their spot kicks at Anfield. Harvey Elliott had scored the winner here. Dembele got the all-important equalising goal in aggregate at Anfield the following week. Also met in the group stage in 18-19 when both sides won their home games, as opposed to last season when both won their away games. And Paris Saint-Germain got the better of Liverpool in the quarter-finals of the Cup Winners' Cup back in the 96-97 season, nearly 30 years ago. This is a ground with happy memories. The wonderful Alan Kennedy scoring the winning goal for the Reds against Real Madrid back in 1981 in the European Cup final. But it's been a tough start for them tonight. They trail 1-0. The PSG have a free kick just outside their own penalty area. What you spotted, Stu?
I'm just looking at Liverpool here. You've got the back three in slot marking one player. They've got to work out, do we squeeze right on and have a press, which is fine, but the central defenders have got to come in and back that up. Otherwise there'll be a big gap the size of the Cheddar Gorge right in front of us where we're looking in here, just inside PSG's half, for players to get into that area and play.
I'd like to think that that's what Luis Enrique will be saying to his players at half-time. Look at the way that Liverpool are marking. He looks just like Cheddar Gorge. That will be his cultural reference, Luis Enrique.
Well,
he'll be a big Cheddar Gorge aficionado.
Hopefully he's been there to recce the site beforehand to do that analysis.
Well, knowing him, he probably has been. Gomez.
The Loire Valley then, OK?
Gomez with a long throw in towards the near post that Safanov, under pressure from Van Dijk, has punched away, and goes out for the first Liverpool corner, which will be taken on the right-hand side. The point that you make clearly is a very valid one, though, because with the three stay back, and Dembele's happy to stay up there and keep them entertained, and then Zaire Emery can just drift around, and with Doué coming in, Kvaratskhelia coming in, all of a sudden Gravenberch has got three to deal with by himself.
Exactly, it becomes an overload in the central area, and the movement of these PSG players is a big problem.
Liverpool's first corner taken short. Gravenberch for Wirtz, right footed in from Szoboszlai. Great ball in. Good goalkeeping. Safanov punched it clear. Got enough on it. Not much distance, but enough. Got it away from Kerkez. PSG try and break forward on the counter-attack. Looked like Zaire Emery was fouled. The referee clearly played the advantage. But when Zaire Emery just toe-poked it out of play, the refs pulled it back and has given a free kick to PSG. And Liverpool very nearly got that right from the corner.
I'll tell you what, it was only the goalie bailing the back line out. There was three Liverpool players that had defied their defenders, and Stefanov has come out and got a fist on it, fortunately for his back line. Great ball in.
1-0 PSG lead. We'll find out what's been going on in the night's other Champions League tie very shortly. Barcelona at home to Atletico Madrid. tomorrow night. More live football for you as Villa go to Bologna and Forest take on Porto. Those games on Talk Sport 2 from 8 o'clock tomorrow. Forest in Porto and Villa in Bologna. The Villa game Talk Sport at 8 and the Forest game Talk Sport 2 at 8 o'clock tomorrow. Again, a choice of listening for you on the Talk Sport network. Here's Zaire Emery coming forward. Just hitting that same bit of space. Kvaratskhelia to his left. He's drifted in. Got it onto his right foot. Similar movement to that brought Doué the goal. But his shot that took a looping deflection spun into the hands of Mamardashvili. And then a free kick is given for an offside. And I think the referee saw the flag. Liverpool played on. But 2 or 3 of the Liverpool players saw the flag and have asked for the play to be pulled back. And the referees agreed. It's a free kick that will be taken on the edge of the box. So let's find out what's been going on the east coast of Spain. Barca against Atletico Madrid. Here's TalkSport's Ian Dante.
Barcelona 0, Atletico Madrid 0, 21.5 minutes gone. Marcus Rashford has been heavily involved so far. He's had a hat-trick of chances for Barca, 2 of which were saved in the opening 5 minutes, and he had the ball in the net on 18, only for an offside flag against Lamine Yamal to deny Barca. Atleti had a couple of opportunities too, through Alvarez and through Simeone, but they've been wasteful. It's 0-0.
Here they've got a throw in their left-back position, won by Nuno Mendes, as it comes off Frimpong. They've got a really good record against English sides latterly. I mean, last season they were beaten by Liverpool, of course, by Arsenal and by Villa as well. But ultimately they eliminated all 3 of those sides. They also beat Manchester City. But this season they put 5 past both Spurs and Chelsea. They're now unbeaten, PSG, against Premier League opposition in their last 7 matches. And have won their last 4 two-legged ties against English sides. They've got off to a good start tonight. They lead 1-0 through Doué, who's in possession now on the right-hand side of the penalty area, but it's a poor ball played back, won back by Soboslai. Ekitike just caught, and the free kick has gone Liverpool's way, about 15-20 yards outside the penalty area. What does it add to a player when they're coming back and playing against their former club? Maybe one that they didn't make quite the impression that they wanted to.
Well, listen, every time I played against a former club, it buoyed you up. It gave you that much more oomph to go and deliver a performance, especially if you maybe not delivered to the standards you would have liked to have done.
4 goals in 33 games for PSG. Hugo Ekitike. PSG have given a free kick away here inside the centre circle. Van Dijk's taken it, and Gravenberch, given the instruction to turn, has done so. Gets by Zaire Emery, but as he looked for Ekitike, Pacho was able to poke it away. PSG have it with Vitinha. He's midway inside his own half. Lovely little reverse ball away from Wirtz, brought back down by João Neves, and then the dark-haired dynamo Vitinha, who really is here, there and everywhere.
Yeah, we talked about